Greetings, Peasley Interwebs, Jake here, and just got done seeing Deadpool 2. Really good movie. Now, before we go into to further details of this here review, I will be going into some spoilers, so if you have not seen the movie yet, probably don't watch this review. So yeah, with that being said, Deadpool 2 is much like the first one. It kind of subverts what your expectations are for the movie, because the first one, you initially go in just going like, oh, this is gonna be a fun, like, kind of comedy movie with some action, or action comedy comic book movie, and it very much is. But at the heart of the first one, it's really a romance movie between Wade Wilson and Vanessa, which again, the chemistry really worked and you really bought it, and that's kind of what set in motion the whole first film, and it really worked. So much like the first one, this film at its heart is very much a family movie. And Deadpool makes that comment at the beginning of the film. He says it's a family movie. Now, at first I was kind of like, yeah, okay, we'll see about that. Just because I wasn't entirely sure really a whole lot about this movie. Because thankfully the trailers did a really good job of not spoiling anything. Or at least not a whole lot, like a lot of other movie trailers do. So, I was kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. But yeah, it's very much a family movie at its core. But again, it's still very much like the first one: action, comedy, comic book movie, all the good stuff. But the whole family aspect is kind of the driving force of this movie. And again, I like the fact that it also has a lot of heart in this movie. It wasn't just and again, that's kind of the thing that I liked about the first one too, is it wasn't just like an action comedy comic book movie. It had a lot of heart to it, and I think that's kind of what differentiates this movie and makes it made the first one like really stand out. And I think that's what'll kind of help it stand the test of time, hopefully years down the road. And I think the second one has the same effect as well, where again, there's a lot of heart in it, and I think that's what's going to really, one, helps this movie really stand up as a solid follow-up to the first film. But also I think that's kind of what really gives it, I don't know, kind of just keeps it from just being like, oh yeah, it was a fun sequel, but, it's, I don't know, there's been a lot of sequels in movie franchises where the sequels, not that they're bad, but they're just kind of like a fun follow-up movie, but didn't quite nail the magic of the first one. Now, granted, I think I still need to marinate on Deadpool 2 a little bit more to really accurately compare to the first one. But as of right now, because I just got home from seeing it, only a few minutes ago, it's definitely a solid follow-up. Again, has a lot of the same things that made the first one special. A lot of really good humor, a lot of really good action scenes, and a lot of really cool meta moments. It definitely pokes fun at both the MCU, DC movies. So, again, that's kind of the beauty with a character like Deadpool. And there's a lot of really good post-credit scenes towards the end, which I'll hopefully try to remember to get back to once I kind of start finishing this up. But yeah, there are a lot of, one thing that I really like about this movie is the fact that, there's this big build-up to building the X-Force team. And so once the X-Force team is actually assembled and they go into action, literally the entire team dies. The entire X-Force team dies aside from Deadpool and Zazie Beetz' character, Domino. Which that was really funny, especially because the way all the characters die. And also, they were, somewhat known actors. Like Terry Crews, Bill Skarsgård. These were, actors who aren't maybe super famous, but, well-known, or familiar actors. I think that's kind of what surprised me the most is, when they just start dying. I was like, oh, that was an unexpected turn. And also, I just remember that, some of the trailers, I think they actually showed the X-Force characters, like Shatterstar and stuff like that, having action scenes. So I guess they filmed those scenes just to throw off audiences for the marketing campaign, which I thought was genius. So I think that's another reason why it's so surprising to see all these characters die in kind of these horrible ways, like getting hit by a bus, thrown into a compost shredder, or whatever you want to call those things, getting electrocuted to death. So even though it was a little disappointing not getting to see, I guess, all those characters in action, I don't know, it still really worked for this movie. Zazie Beetz was definitely one of the standouts as Domino. I thought she did a fantastic job. I've not really seen any of her other work, but after seeing Deadpool 2, I thought she was fantastic, and I'm definitely going to keep my eye on her for future things that she does. So I thought she was fantastic. Also, of course, Josh Brolin as Cable, I thought he wasn't my first choice when he was initially cast, but then I was like, yeah, I think he can really bring to life the kind of gruff, straight-laced attitude of Cable from the comics and bring him to life. And he did. He did a really good job of playing off Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool and some of the other characters and kind of just being that, gruff, no-nonsense, tough guy. And I think he was also a really good foil for kind of the beginning of the movie to go against Deadpool and cause Deadpool to bring form the X-Force and all that stuff. So, again, the chemistry with all the actors and everything, their scenes together, I thought was great. And also, another surprising thing in this movie, getting to see Juggernaut, that in itself was really cool, but getting to see Juggernaut and Colossus fight, I thought that was a really great scene, and the fact that, they have quite a bit of a rivalry in the comics, so getting to see this rivalry come into fruition in a Deadpool movie, I thought was really surprising, but fantastic. Getting to see these two just duke it out and fight, I thought was really cool. And the fact that, Juggernaut didn't take away from... Because at first I was kind of is Juggernaut going to be, the big bad, I guess, of the third act? But really, he kind of... He really wasn't, the main villain of the third act. It was kind of just... He was more of an obstacle for the characters to all fight each other. Or to fight. I don't know, there really wasn't, necessarily, a big bad of this movie. And I think that is totally fine. That worked for this movie. Because, again, not every movie has to have, a big bad per se. It's really more about Deadpool and all the other characters kind of becoming a family. Is really the main kind of arc of the third act. So yeah, I like the fact that this movie kind of subverts your expectations and everything just really works. And again, the amount of heart in this movie I thought was really surprising. So yeah, Deadpool 2 is really good. Especially the post-credit scenes where Deadpool basically goes back in time to clean up the timeline by killing Deadpool in Wolverine Origins, I thought was great. And then, of course, seeing Ryan Reynolds as himself reading the script for Green Lantern, he's like, this is your chance at the big leagues, and then gets shot in the head by Deadpool. I thought was great. And also, I think it just shows the great sense of humor of Ryan Reynolds, knowing fully well that, yeah, he was in a couple stink bombs, that being Wolverine Origins and Green Lantern. I like the fact that he's able to poke fun of himself, and not, I don't know, other actors, they either don't really address it or they kind of just like to shy away from the bad movies they've made. But I like the fact that Ryan Reynolds pokes fun of it. And again, the whole, really just pokes fun at the whole Marvel Universe, DC, and just the whole comic book medium in of itself. So, Deadpool 2, if you have seen it, let me know what you thought. And if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, but you definitely should have picked a better spoiler review to watch at least. That's more on topic and isn't all over the place. But yeah, so before I start rambling more about this movie, I'm going to start wrapping it up. Hopefully you all have enjoyed. And again, let me know what you will think below. And also, earlier today, at the time of this recording, Saturday, the 19th, I recorded a full spoiler review of Infinity War with the Mild-Mannered Movie Men podcast, along with Dave here from Pasty Pale Productions in Jordan, where basically we did like an hour and a half long full spoiler review of Infinity War. So that'll probably be up later this weekend, again at the time of this recording. So I'll be sure to link Mild-Mannered Movie Men podcast in the description below, along with my Twitter, Irishman Jake. So feel free to follow me on Twitter, and I'll retweet it once the episode's up. So that way, if you all are interested, you can check that out. Because it was a lot of fun to go full spoiler for an hour and a half on Infinity War. So hopefully you enjoyed this review, and like I said in the last review, the non-spoiler Infinity War, I'm going to try and upload a bit more regularly on here. So yeah, that wraps this up, and until next time, everyone, cheers.